Majora's Mask is many Zelda fans' favorite game, and is the most overlooked one on the N64. This is pretty much because of how the whole story, themes, and characters were different from the usual Zelda formula. This is something some people loved, and some people didn't like that much. But we're still starting this game off with something that's to see in every Zelda game. We're TheOwnersOfTriforce, and here's the Majora's Mask boss ranking. I have never heard a positive thing about Majora's incarnation. Everyone thinks it's very stupid or silly to have a face in the last boss being a weird creature running all around the room dancing and making weird noises. I've come to understand that Majora's incarnation represents the madness and insanity within the power of Majora, so that's fine to have something like this. But as a boss fight, there's practically no challenge. Well, he might be hard to hit with your arrows since he's all over the room, but the only attack he has is those energy balls. He shoots many at the same time, but you can only get hurt by one of them since you're invulnerable a second or two after getting hit. And it doesn't even hurt you on contact. Truly one of the weirdest bosses ever, and our worst boss in Majora's Mask. If you expected something big at the end of Stone Tower Temple, you've got it. Twin Mold might be the biggest boss duo in the series, but they feel normal once you make yourself big too. Anyway, Twin Mold was a disappointment. All you have to do is attack the tails with your sword while avoiding them. They fly around all randomly and are never out to attack you. To be another version of the landmala first used in A Link to the Past, they're actually easier. The landmala had rocks or mud balls coming out of the ground every time they dug themselves up that could hurt you. Twin Mold had nothing except touching you, and it's more likely for you to walk into them than them flying into you. The only thing making this harder is that you might run out of magic, but you can just destroy the pillars around you to get more, and if you walk too far out in the sand, you'll have to start the fight over again. A disappointing boss to a great dungeon. We're sorry if you're disappointing many fans, because we know many people like Goth. Sure, it's great to have a boss like this in the game. It creates variation in the boss fights and we love that. But when you look at the bosses individually, we're not all impressed with this one. The fight makes great use of the Gora mask, and the only way to kill him is to roll around with spikes coming out of your body and touch him with them. He will use rocks and lightning bolts to attack you, even while he's running. The fight is kind of fun and all, but we're trying to look at the backgrounds of these bosses too. After seeing the Gorons being captured and about to be fed to a dragon in Ocarina of Time, why did they have a masked mechanical bull here? It seems so weird to us. And if Goth, or at least the mask, is the cause of the cold here in the mountains, why is the whole boss frozen down too? There's probably a reasonable answer for that last one, but we just had to ask, even if it's stupid of us. But it's still a fine fight. We're in a water dungeon, and the boss is a huge fish. Kinda like a piranha. It seems to fit. Now, many will probably disagree with us on Georg being a better boss than Goth, but we just have to give this fish credit. Personally, I have never had as much trouble being a boss as I've had with Georg. The first time I played through Majora's Mask, I couldn't beat him within the 3 days, so I had to start over, which I didn't feel like doing. When we played this together, only True beat him. Until I played this myself to get footage from the game, Georg was the only boss in the series that I had played against without ever beating. He is very hard. You have to stun him by using your Sora Vince or other stuff, sink down into the water and punch him. He'll try to bump into the platform, making you fall into the water, which is dangerous because it will take you into his mouth and spit you out again, which does a lot of damage to you. After attacking him, you have to hurry up to the platform again, as he might catch you before you do it. He can also jump over the platform to attack you. He might make you paranoid because it's not always easy to see where the hell he is. After a while, he spews out many mini piranhas to make it even harder. If you look back at our boss ranking from Ocarina of Time, this was the kind of boss we expected to see when we saw through the boss's eyes underwater. Georg ranks this high because of this intense and hard battle. You're finally gonna fight the thing that has been tormenting the whole line of Termina. You're actually gonna fight Majora's Mask, the mask itself. The music is so calm and strange. It makes me think, is this really a boss fight? Yes, it is. And it's a pretty good one too. Majora's Mask comes to life and grows tentacles out of its back. That's where it's vulnerable. When it attacks you, it'll turn the face of the mask upwards, and that's when you have the chance to shoot an arrow and stun it. Use your sword after that. This will go on for a little while, until the rest of the masks in the room also come to life. They will just fly around and shoot an energy ball at you from time to time. You can get rid of them, but it's not completely necessary to beat his face. But you should do it quickly, because they will actually last throughout the whole final boss battle if you don't. From this point on, Majora's Mask will shoot something like a sunbeam at you, which you have to reflect with a mirror shield. Kinda like Twin Rova in Ocarina of Time. The fight against Majora's Mask surely is one of the strangest boss fights I've ever seen, but it's still a very good one. The masked jungle warrior, Odolva, is the boss in the first dungeon. And he has an amazing variety when it comes to his attacks. Your first impression is probably that his only weapon is his sword. But no. He can summon bugs that crawl on the ground, and moths flying all around you. He can strike you with his huge sword, or even do a spin attack. And he can create a freaking wall of fire. It's so awesome! Just look at how the fight can be like. He's actually not that hard, even though it takes quite a few hits to defeat him. But the reason he is this high on the list is the amazing variety of attacks he has, especially to be the first boss in the game. He is, without a doubt, the best first boss in the series, at least before Skyward Sword came out. This is where the final boss reaches its intense stage. After fighting the weirdest and most insane boss ever, the form grows out more muscles, a scary face, and 2 long whips out of its arms, becoming Majora's Wrath, and the music has a higher tempo that might stress you up some more. Majora's Wrath is very good at keeping his distance, and you have to use items like your bow and arrow to stun him while he tries to attack you. He will just avoid your arrows if he's just standing there, because he will be prepared for everything you do. If you get to stun him, you should have something like the Goro Mask or Bunny Hood to increase your speed, because the distance is so big that he'll have a lot of time to recover. After a while, he will send out some dreidels, or what I should call them, that hurt you if they touch you. It's not that this fight is so incredibly hard or anything, but since you have fought in 2 other phases before this, you probably have less magic, life and everything. Majora's Wrath may not be our favorite boss, but it represents the whole final fight against Majora, which is the best in this game. And so, by beating Majora, we stop the moon and save the world. To thank us, why don't you like this video, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you liked it that much. Thanks for watching.